Okay, hello everybody. As Tom said, my name is Demchak. I'm the Director of Product Development for Synchro Software. So my main role is to actually work with all of you customers in the construction field to gather requirements and basically help make Synchro a better product for your industry. So what I'm going to walk through today is our vision of the Synchro platform and sort of where it exists today and where we're taking it in the near future. And I'll sort of walk you through that. Oops. First, I want to point out this. I think this is pretty recent. If you look at Wikipedia today and you just look at 4D BIM, it's now got like an official sort of entry. So we're no longer, I think, sort of fringe or at the edge when we're talking about 4D BIM. It's become a pretty well established concept, and I don't think it's that much of a risk anymore to sort of start talking about embracing 4D and sort of BIM in your workflow. And I invite anybody to just sort of go through and sort of read this. It's a very quick overview of 4D BIM, but it does mention this initial report, Rethinking Construction. And because when I first joined Synchro, that's the first thing that Tom actually made me read. And then now this just showed up February 2017. I think a year ago you couldn't find this article. Oops. But I just kind of want to zoom in on one of these statements here that sort of captures it. And this is sort of not from Synchro, this is sort of now sort of the accepted kind of view of the value of 4D. But if you think about this as a series of problems using 4D BIM, allowing you to explore options, manage solutions, optimize results. It enables construction, product development, collaborative and transparent project implementation, partnering with the supply chain and production components, and keeping with Egan's vision. Sustained improvement should then be delivered through use of techniques for limiting waste and increasing value for the customer. So I want to basically walk you through how we believe that the Synchro platform can begin to deliver on that vision of a truly collaborative construction platform, and not just a piece of software that you might just be an expert at, running on a workstation. So, what does that mean? So for us, we see every project as a unique digital node, and every project has its own unique challenges in how you put these projects together. So I'm going to pop out, this is a diagram of how we see the Synchro platform working across the entire life cycle of a project. And what you'll see here at the core is what we call the Synchro Workgroup server. Okay, and this is a way to share data and collaborate in real time with Synchro information. So just out of curiosity, how many people out there were aware that we have the Workgroup server as a solution? Okay, so quite a few, but not that many. So this is us really bringing this out into the public now in a more official way. Up to this point, we've always been really talking about Synchro Pro and an open viewer as sort of independent apps that you would install and run on your laptop. With the Workgroup server, this is a database that's hosted in the cloud that allows you to have access to that server and that data in real time from multiple locations. So anyone running Synchro Pro can connect to this, the open viewer can connect to it, scheduler can connect to it, and we've also spent a lot of effort building out our API. And so the API allows other devices to then connect to this server and get and receive data. And I'll talk about some of those scenarios here. So, basically what this is a server. It could be in the cloud, it could be hosted on-premise, but it is just a database that manages transactions back and forth between all the users connected to the project. So if you think about a scenario, a tendering presentation, you might have open viewer running and you might have your HoloLenses like distributed around a table for your customers to actually put on. And that's just a connection back to the server and also through our API. We recently did a project in Skanska where they took a holographic animation model that was pulled directly from our Link server and presented the 4D animation as a hologram experience to the client. In the end, that job was recently actually won by the client. And to my knowledge, it was the first time a 4D hologram had been used to present the approach to the project. So not just a projection on a screen, but an interactive hologram. And we'll look at this after the break too. We're also getting into how could you interact with the 4D model with new forms of hardware. So not just the HoloLens, but what about new ways of scrolling through time and spinning through time? So this is actually one of our customers, Steve Moore, has prototyped this controller that allows you to completely spin through the Synchro timeline just by spinning this dial. So it takes away the need to have to use a mouse or be an expert in the use of Synchro. And these are just some pictures of the actual production happening at the factories. This is a full-blown prototype, now going into production. It's going to be available soon in the market. And then we get into integrations with higher quality rendering engines. So this is a use of NVIDIA iRay and then rendering out on a render farm. So now with the new release, we'll be able to actually distribute a rendering over like multiple nodes to cut down on the time it takes to render with something like NVIDIA iRay. So this is just a way to sort of take up the quality to a notch for the client say presentation. We jump over into the design review meeting. Again, this is where you can bring Synchro Pro into play, connecting back to that work group, also with the HoloLens. We'll be showing some examples. We have 3 HoloLens here that you guys can all come around and play with in the back there. But we're now getting to the point where we can connect to a worker server through the link into Unity game engine and just live stream the animation, right? So now we're leveraging gaming platforms to deliver an experience of the Synchro model. So again, taking the information outside of the constraints of just the Synchro Pro interface. Here's just an example. This is a little bit jittery. This is just a live recording out of the HoloLens, but this was the example of a project that we pulled into Unity and then live streamed out of the HoloLens. So this is the one where the client actually rented a high-powered gaming laptop, brought it into the tender presentation, and just played this thing through. And the cool thing about this wasn't a lot of manual scripting. We didn't have to hire a Unity artist, game designer. We just built software that could connect back to the Synchro data source and then pull it into Unity. And then you hit play and stream it over Wi-Fi. And we'll have this model example also, you guys. If you want to try this, we have this project in the back. And then moving on to into the field. So how does Synchro sort of impact work at the actual trailer? And again, we're also imagining in this space more devices. Surface books, HoloLens, projection boards, and even the use of Power BI, which is a way to produce analytic reports off of the data that we can pull through the API. And what I've been spending a lot of time traveling and visiting with clients and sort of seeing how Synchro is actually used in the field. And this is just a couple of photos of sort of what this looks like. And it's really interesting. Basically, once 4D comes into play, once Synchro gets into the trailer, it becomes like a hub for interaction. So In the trailer, in the bin room, you've got the Synchro model running, typically an open viewer, daily or weekly stand-ups where the team, the subs come in, review the work, ask questions, raise issues, and then even go back and reschedule and sort of resolve issues that come up. So instead of looking at the Gantt chart on the wall, I'm seeing more and more of this type of environment, digital screens, the 4D, fundamentally part of that workspace now. Yeah. So this, I don't know if you guys had this experience, but where I've been going, this is becoming standard actually, interacting with the digital medium and not just the Gantt chart. And then moving out into the field. So, we've seen Synchro traditionally, it's been used effectively for tendering and sort of presentation and showing the 4D, but for it to have the true impact, it has to get into the field, and you have to use the 4D to status the work and to track your progress, and not just update sheets of paper. So this is where we've really put a lot of investment into the API and building out our apps for both the HoloLens and the iPad for field engineer statusing. So something we're actively looking into now is, how can we take a mixed reality device and integrate it with construction safety hardware, so you can actually go into the field and use this equipment. So with the mixed reality scenario, we're able to now overlay the 4D model at one-to-one scale with the construction environment. So you can see what's planned just by looking around the room. And then what we're working on now is the ability to just basically tap on objects that have been placed and record their status. So do a field inspection, record status, update the Synchro model. And that's in use right now. So that's sort of the HoloLens, but our field application called Site is actually in use right now at a number of sites. I'll just show this one. This is in London at Crossrail, which is a massive underground subway line going through London, and they're using this on multiple stations to status and track all the MEP installation work going in. So the field engineer goes down there once a week, gets the data for the Synchro model, goes into the field, traverses the model, traverses the real space, and tracks what's actually been installed and what's been installed, say off variants. And then that goes back to the Synchro and produces a weekly report. So we're seeing this being used in real time. Now, one of the issues with this form factor is you're holding it in your hand and having to kind of, go from a view of the model and then look around. We think with the HoloLens we can sort of solve that problem. You literally just walk through the building and you don't have to kind of orient yourself to the 3D model. And then that shot on the left is also another use of Site at the East Side Access Tunnel. It's also another major subway being built in New York City. This is underneath Grand Central Station. And we think, why not? So once we have the API and we're already connecting to multiple devices, making an app that connects to a watch or a smartphone is just development effort at that point. And it's really just talking to you, the customer, to figure out, well, what should that app be? And I think what you'll see is there could be a whole ecosystem of third-party developers that can start to build apps on top of the Synchro API to move data back and forth. For example, a recent project we did with a company that puts cameras on the site to take daily photographs of the site. We built an app with that company that would connect to the Synchro model, pull the daily snapshots out of the 4D model, line it up with the camera on the site, and then composite these two images. So you've got the camera image and the Synchro model now able to be compared, planned versus actual. And that's just a Unity application. built on top of the API. And then, what about just the World Wide Web and dashboards and web interactions? So if all you want to get is stats and performance reviews or metrics on the project, a connection to the server through something like Power BI, now you could just do a GET request and see live updates on the model. And then this can be from anywhere, right? Anywhere you're connected, you should have access to that data. So that's sort of the picture of the platform, how we see it. Again, at the center is this database, and then it serves the entire life cycle of the project. So that's where we sort of see 4D having an impact, is from the beginning, from like the tender phase, all the way to handover and down to field inspection. And it really is at this API workgroup level that's going to enable that.